Okay, we do position. Namo Manjo Shri Nama So Shri Nama Dama Shri Soha Namo Manjo Shri Nama So Shri Nama Dama Shri Soha Namo Manjo Shri Nama So Shri Nama Dama Shri Soha Ge chona lai jang jo ban do nan ni gyab zu ji da ge chue nie ki pe chong na ge jo la ben je sang ge jo ba jo chue na zu ge chona lai jang jo ban do nan ni gyab zu ji da ge chue nie ki pe chong na ge jo la ben je sang ge jo ba jo chue na zu ge chona lai jang jo ban do nan ni gyab zu ji da ge chue nie ki pe chong na ge Dola benje sangye duba jo. Bege juje me doja, rira linji ni de gemba de, sangye shindo mi de uwa ye, roge nanda shema cheba jo. Ida inguro rana mendala ka, diya daya emi.
Mama Dumajina is in the town, Chitavi, same day, Manashi, cutting to Sada, Mama Jiba Chitan, Mashiba, Tangi Jabba, today, Madame at the one is a London Coloti, doing by him, now, the cheap pieces of the general, that she
yeah, so all sentient beings have been our mothers. And all sentient beings have been our mothers for numberless times. They are as kind as our mothers of this life. Even though all kind mothers sentient beings want happiness and do not want suffering at all, however, due to not knowing the objects of abandonment and adoptions, they create a karma that bring forth the result of suffering only. So in our mind, sincerely generate loving kindness towards all kind mother sentient beings, thinking, how nice if all kind mother sentient beings had happiness. May all kind mother sentient beings have happiness. I will cause all kind mother sentient beings to have happiness. Lama, please bless me to be able to do so.
That is the Dumajina is in the town, he goes into the show, Tara Tana, Java, Java, Davishan,
Next, we cultivate compassion towards all suffering mother sentient beings, thinking, how nice if 3 doors of all suffering mother sentient beings were free of all adversities. May 3 doors of all suffering mother sentient beings be free of all adversities. I will cause 3 doors of all suffering mother sentient beings to be free of all adversities. Lama, please bless me to be able to do so.
The ages of Dumajina is in the town, she called and so doing yes, that is the project. The dinner as a young about something to compare the body is something since you can't take something to compare the
And next, we cultivate bodhicitta towards all mother sentient beings. First, we ask ourselves who should take the responsibility to free all sentient beings from the sufferings of samsara and of lower realms. I should take the responsibility to free all sentient beings from the sufferings of samsara and of lower realms. However, I do not have the ability to do so now. Only those who have achieved the perfect complete enlightenment have the ability to do so. Therefore, for the sake of all sentient beings, by all means, I want to become Buddha.
The Deism, Sentient, the Sanji Kumbatava, Shao, maybe Kundu Batini, Ranginika Daichi, the number change startup. The chain and the region of the Kumban, the Rangi say, what you can't use Ranginika Daidin, you were dated, logic of Zenga in number G, you can start the Tanjina say James.
Next, we cultivate all-encompassing yoga mind. That our aspirational sentient beings, I want to become Buddha. These transfer into a perfect mundis at one's heart. And our ultimate bodhicitta, that is one's mind becoming in one taste with emptiness, that all phenomena are lacking of inherent resistance. White 5-point Vajra, the mundis.
The gauges.
We meditate on emptiness, that I neither exist intrinsically one with, nor intrinsically different from the aggregates. Thus, I do not exist intrinsically.
The Deism, and 20 did the Sanji Kumbatova, Deji, the Dutch and the Mandarin, chicken, and it's chicken, this and
Set motivation. For the sake of all sentient beings, I want to become Buddha. For this purpose, I'm going to receive the commentary on holy teachings and practice accordingly in order to benefit sentient beings.
Oh yeah, thank you. 타바 다이치 보시가 이게 나와가 보시가 디기 원트 디 타바는 저거 디기 원트 위에서 있지 수로와
다시 아니
가시기 때 그때 지나 몬치에 타바 설득이 나와도 타바 설득와 데이터에 비치다 나서 나바서 설득이 있어요. 근데 지지 어디서 예선서 타바디 토야 나바서 좀 때문에 디원을 트리에서 따라서 개발 공정 여야신보다 다 간단하게 내용 이 빠진 거 그런 식의 예측과 그래서 취해 예 빠진 거 이게 디교 어떤 시선을 와 스바고는
But in Tawa in the Tawa Wola.
Oh, Tawa Wola. The biggest one because the Kunjin Janshima. Kunjin Janshima to be so that was it. Big one train to listen.
Yeah, so previously when we talk about the wheel of resistance, then we left the two verses here unexplained. So today I'm going to talk about going to start with explaining these two verses. So some they write these two verses under, so you can see the tanka then is below, then underneath the wheel of resistance. Then some they write these two verses. Then right below this white moon, this white moon, the moon here. So there are two. The reason why they write two verses right below the white moon is because since these two verses shows the three trainings, which is the cause to achieve the liberations, and this mundi is also signified or symbolizes liberation. Therefore, these two verses, some they write these two verses below the moon, the moon here on the top left. So because then it's according to the assertions of Gungyen Jiang Sheba and Padin Tawa Tapa. Again, Tawa Tapa.
So Kunji Budo City Kepa change. Kepa Sanji.
Yeah. So yeah, it's asserted by the teacher Padin Taba. So Padin Taba is the great scholar of Jepung Loseling. And then according to, then follow the assertions of Gungyen Jiang Sheba. So Gungyen Jiang Sheba say first, and then the teacher Padin Taba then also quote Gungyen Jiang Sheba. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about the meaning of these two verses. The inji ciditena. So these are the two verses. So one must act and one must expel. This is the first line of these two verses. So one must act and one must expel. So it means in order to achieve liberations. So those who wish to achieve liberations, in order to achieve liberations, you must act or you must start to put effort. So put effort in what? Put effort in listening to the three baskets of teachings. So in dependence on listening to three baskets of teachings, then wisdom arisen from listening arise. Then you contemplate. Then wisdom arisen from contemplation arise. Then you meditate. Then wisdom arisen from meditation arise. And this is how you achieve liberations.
That's almost as there. That's almost a deep coin in a tea to eat you want sharp. Yes, you are. That thing was you want shazzy and must get on Katuji, as a Jana, this conductor to Rua. So the Jana, you and was Mambo. That Taba Toy Chedo, Taba Toy, somewhere, Taba Toy Chedo. That Taba Toy Chedo to do somebody, Taba Toyla, Bachi gets over the Karsana. Bachi Jigger. 也往可以内绿龙记的做了吧， 현차 첨부들 거의 네 리롱제를 배 하장 현차 첨부 거의 대화도做了 현차 첨부 제바이나 그 타바 토야라 파쇼 양이만 코야라 코야를 주주도 와 양이만 코야라 배 주주도 타바 토도 마하디 다음 거의 네 리롱제 간대지나 대화 거의 대화 간대지나 저러파 현차 하장 휴첨부도 저파 도구를 해서 와 저파 하자 현차 첨부 파 마도나 그 양이 저러 현차 첨부시나 타바 토야 제도 전주 가봐서 양이면 코야 제도 이 레사는 베이스고 와 어디서다 다 용하샤시 리지가 만족 가도지 사는 있다고
Then one must expel. So in general, they are managing to expel or dispel. Managing to expel. So, however, in this context, we are talking about those who wants to achieve liberations, right? And in order to achieve liberations, then we have to act or we have to start making effort. And the obstacles that prevent us from achieving liberations is attachment. So, because of the strong attachment to the samsaric place, samsaric body, samsaric happiness, and samsaric wealth, possessions, etc. Because of these, then we create karma. So because of the creations of karma, then we circle in samsara uncontrollably. And there is no way for us to achieve liberations if we do not stop or eliminate the attachment. Therefore, one must expel, in this context, it talks about one must expel the main obstacles that prevent us from achieving liberations, that is attachment to samsara, to samsaric goodness, samsaric happiness.
다 가르쳐버려야지 이거와 다 가르쳐버려야지 그거는 다 산지 때는 좀 봐샤 시디송도와 다 가르쳐버서는 오 거의 네 리용지도 저러 하장의 현차 친구도 서파 보니 다 산지 유마 땡자요 타파 토고요나 다 산지 좀 맞는 너무 나빠서 뭐 내가 간양에 지기도 제버려야지 그거와 산지지 배마 타파 토야기 주다 너무 나빠서 타파 토지 주다 너무 나빠서 뭐 대나는 또 돈이도 비셔를 줄라고 차. 당가서 나고 나리 많이 먹어. 또 돈이도 비셔를 줄라고 차. 근데 선상 뭐다 산지 때문에 안다 놀라버서 못들 냐네 책임도 제시고. 어세게 비서고.
Yeah. So in order to expel the attachment that prevent us they prevent us from achieving the liberations, then we have to expel the attachment, right? So in then what should we do to expel the attachment to samsaric goodness and samsaric happiness? Then it follows the second line. So one must engage in the Buddha's teaching. So this is what we should do in order to expel attachment to samsaric goodness and happiness. So and engage in Buddha's teaching, and the course to achieve liberations is condensed in three trainings. So the three trainings, and among these three trainings, then is the training in wisdom. So among the three trainings, then the main one is training in tree wisdom. So training in wisdom. So we must properly engage in the three trainings in order that is taught by Buddha in order to abandon or to expel the attachment to samsaric goodness.
가를 니바 가르파 타파토야라 빠지 제게 가를 좀 두고 가를 몇바 수 두고래 가를 더 두고래 세와이나 때배샤네 아로와 페나 잔담비 컨지타라 람치 두고 내네 제타 쇼바나시 다 람치 첨보 쉬지레 레오데 컴바 첨보레 로아 라바 첨보레 참 조니군이 서서 두고 로아 예 디 수고 첨보시 참업에 이지 서서 두고래 대나시 대 완라바서 뭐 대라 냐내시네 녀무 타바토라 빠지 제게 녀무 디 품비기 디 타이피 디 치다고 디 그래서 참아 파 쫑는 그래서 저 참아 용는 내가 소도 그래서 까도 그래서 그래서 참아 파 타바토라 빠지 제게 디시고 저파 쫑이 타바토 투 그래서 완라바서 뭐 디 타바토 투 그래서
Nhumung gitu, hai gitu, cita gitu tang cite.
Cita gitu, pumbi diwa.
Pumbi du.
Pumbi di ngaso sajini leji pungo di la pe yang yang pe xiangcha chenpo chen morwa.
Yeah, so one must engage in the Buddha's teaching. So if you engage in the Buddha's teaching, then what is the result of practice properly in 3 trainings? Then the result follows in the following 2 lines. As an elephant trembles a mass of mud, one must destroy the forces of death. So if one properly train in or engage in 3 trainings, the result is just like the elephant trembles a mass of mud, then the forces of death, so the 4 maras will be destroyed. So the 4 maras is the mara of affliction, mara of aggregate, mara of kamadeva, and mara of Lord of Death. So these 4 maras will be destroyed, and then one achieve liberation. So this is the result of engaging in the Buddha's teaching. Yeah. So by training in the 3 trainings, then the 4 maras are destroyed. So so it talks about one must put effort, or one one must put effort in engaging the 3 trainings. So by applying effort, then you're able to stop non-conscientiousness. Yeah, so by having effort, then one will have the conscientiousness. So this applying effort, it will be able to stop non-conscientiousness. So if we are under the power of non-conscientiousness, then we are not able to start putting effort in engaging the 3 trainings. So by applying effort or generating effort, this stopped non-conscientiousness. Yeah, so if we have conscientiousness, then we engage in 3 trainings, and by engaging in 3 trainings, the main purpose of engaging in 3 trainings is to tame one's own mind, to tame our mind stream. So by taming our mind stream, the 4 maras will be destroyed. We will be able to destroy these 4 maras. Therefore, it's very important to have this consciousness, then engage in 3 trainings in order to tame our mind stream. And when our mind stream is tamed, 4 maras will be destroyed. So so regarding the 3 trainings, then we must generate wisdom, realizing emptiness, directly realizing emptiness, right? And that is the training in wisdom. So, and in order to, and this training in wisdom of generating wisdom, directly realizing emptiness, that
depends on the training in morality. So if we do not engage in training in morality, then there is no way for this training in wisdom to become powerful enough to destroy the four maras. So if we depends on the training in morality, then we develop the training in wisdom. Then by training in wisdom, then we will be able to destroy the four maras and we achieve liberation. So the second verse talks about the three trainings. So he who with vigilance engages in this dharma and discipline shall relinquish the cycle of birth and put an end to suffering. So it talks about engaging in three trainings. So by engaging in three trainings, then it stopped those are discordant, those class which are discordant to the three trainings, and one engaged in class that is concordant with the three trainings. And one's mind becomes stable, and on this basis, then one engaged in the training in wisdom. Then by developing wisdom, realizing emptiness, then one will not fall under the power of karma and afflictions and circle in samsara anymore. And one free from samsara, then one free from the samsaric suffering, then one achieve liberations, and then one achieve the state of arhatship. So achieving liberation and achieving the state of arhat are simultaneous. So then one achieve liberation from samsara, then one is free from the samsaric suffering.
rimba shauti misuji tene tsu shibuya misuji tene da jinche tu tene da repeat tene da limba tsoi tene tsu yo desoma rimba ki tutang de shi kazi shi sarwa
sedi na di mariba de kune lang de ni de lesa wa na di pache de namje la shai ro sedi la ini di siba silen siba sumina sele siba sumina de genchi gyo ro
sedi de gala
sedi
de gala pe le de jinche go ro de chi pache de jinche de se chima de la misuji tene ambo mizu de so rimba tutang kazi shi sara mizu jinche tene repeat tene limba tsoi tene 다 간다 미수지 때문에 제이 때문에 두고 되냐 자 우리는 미수 때문에 두고 제이 때문에 두고 와 우리는 맞아 미수 때문에 두고 남 제이 때문에 두고 그 제이 때문에 두 대제스 간다 그 가시 때문에 두고 와 아마다
주보대니 사마데 세시만
다 세시만 간다 다 맞아 인디나 좀 말인가 레산을 넣어 시오를 두서 좋아 다 뒤뒤지마다 창다 주기를 뜻에 나오는
Yeah, so this is the explanations about the 12 links of dependent arising. So in the great expositions of stages of the path to enlightenment, Lamrim Chenmo, so there is a specific sections that you can see, you can read directly about the 12 links of dependent arising. However, in the middle length of Lamrim, then these 12 links of dependent arising is not explicitly taught. So when we talk about these 12 things of dependent arising, then because of ignorance, then one's accumulate karma, and because of accumulating karma, then one continue to circle in samsara again and again. So then we talk about these 12 things of dependent arising. So due to in this life, then due to ignorance, compositional activities, and consciousness. So these three, these three, then due to ignorance, then one creates karma, and these creations of karma leaves the imprints on the consciousness. Then this craving, grasping, and existence, these three serve as the conditions in this life as well, and then to project a rebirth. Then when one takes a rebirth, then we experience name and form, sources, contact, feeling, birth, aging, and death. So name and form and birth, the experience, one experience it as they arise simultaneously. Yeah. So this is just a short explanations about the 12 things of dependent arising. So we have ignorance, compositional activities, and consciousness, craving, grasping, existence in this life. Then we experience the rest of the 6 links of dependent arising in next life.
데 삼대샤리다 맞아 데마 남이야 드림즈가 사고라야 데 쇼카지 로투 하체버리 다니마 삼바데 집이 세생마서 집을 리더나 집을 데티고 나는 로장 삼바 집이 세 삼바 정이 대집이 세텔로 로도 사서 스타지스는 다니마 삼바데 집이 세대와 빌만 그래
So there is the explanations about 12 things of dependent arising. So now I will come back to middle length Lamrim, then the measure of its development.
이리와 뭐야 당연히 니바 삼바데 집이 세대래 딱 간다 등와다 인디니 거는 친이 라도 시바시 다 삼바 집이 세대 간다 데려와 다 간다 동화다 근주 되니 코야 그때 이미지 심바지 땡데랑 균이라서 맞대 대답에 거의 님이라서 막 가리지 콘도와 코라 간고 무슨 심바지 그래서 간다 와 동화다 근주 거는 딱 간다 맞아 땡데랑 균이 두도 그때 나시나 두군이나 두디려와 that's the 제가 쉬라고 말씀과 뭐데 다 동화다 근주니까 땡데랑 균이 같이 쉬자와 다 코당 무슨 상관 심바지 그래서 와 수바 심바지 그래도 수신이 간다 수신이 딱 코한 곳이지 저도 간절 코안에 줘야 가르쳐야 수바 제반지 심바지 진제바 시리도 코안이 양양도 코한 곳이 저도 수바 도구야 수바에 반 도구 해서 무슨 도구에 심바 수바 도구야라 때마서 타바톤데 노시게 해서 와 다 간다도 손 놓아야 가르치나 난 코안에 반 준대에서 코안에 반 주야 내 반주야도 다또 노변 코안은 거지지 양년은 거지지 저도 수바 봐 둬야 돼 간다로 와 수바 둬야 되고 or the soba, don't about did it. The soba don't did it, Garichi resident of the Tapa to teach it. Tapa to teach what Tapa to teach it. Yes, everything is much raw. The Kanda Tapa 20 the Shuazan, Nindu with Sambatan, yes, and as a Tapa Shuazan, Nindu with Sambatan, yes, and Nindu Sambatan. That was only Nindu with Sambatan, and shoot you with a little word. Nindu with Sambatan, yes, raw. That is only 2 months ago, that gentleman is what.
So the measure of its development, when you have come to understand the characteristics of cyclic existence in detail from the point of view of sufferings and their origins and the 12 things of dependent arising that we have just covered. So in fact, 12 things of dependent arising can be subsumed within sufferings and origins. So so we understand the characteristics of cyclic existence in detail from the by knowing these sufferings, origins, and the 12 things of dependent arising, then the desire to eliminate them and the desire to attain their complete pacifications arises. So the desire to eliminate them, then one wish to achieve liberation. So while this is indeed the attitude of renunciation, it is not sufficient by itself. So then one must, then as it through the 12 things of dependent arising and the sufferings and the origin, then we know how one circle in samsara, how one entered the samsara, and how one is free from samsara, how one liberates from samsara. So we understand the 12 things of dependent arising in the forward order and also in the reverse order as well. So those who wish to achieve liberations must understand the 12 things of dependent arising and must abandon those who cause us to circle in samsara again and again. So in order to achieve liberations, then one must develop a strong renunciation of samsara with regard to samsara.
When you got the Indian Junior Sabbath, in a cine, but a sheep a chine, did it Kada call the calling a Panjunde, the tailor, that Tabaton low. Tabaton low, that Tabaton low level 1, calling a Panjun, dig, shoot him, Kandilabina, the Delia Tabaton low, but you church in Orwa. That Tabaton the short and a Kanda calling a Panjun, image in a desert, Choma, desert. Dumalta Kanda de Shuchimbu has as well. Pesha the member China the Simba. Member Combanal with Citadi Combanation on Citadi. I've been Joko Pesho, Demusal with Sina Nata that the Atutun Joko Jura. Shujura, what they at low Peshuchimbo, but sure Lansa Dharma to buy that maybe Lansa Silver, so spoke about Silver, the Euro, they know other better than Carson, seeing a huge with Oh, that's a honey, not the Hachi part was sure by your little time. What the big bit, look, I need shooting with 11. The day says on the mother, Tapatani, look and you were shooting with the this. What Tapatani, you were shooting with this. Call a did look. I need to look and shooting. The Tapatani, you know, not shooting the high windows. The Tapatani, the shooting will cut it by the Zulu Bezentia. They tried to the Bezen shooting with this. Bezen is shooting what can't be by Tapa the middle turtle. Yes, Joppa told. That's right. Oh, that is a market bagger.
Yeah, so this is indeed the attitude of renunciation. It is not sufficient by itself. So, and therefore you should generate the mind to the same extent as the mind that doesn't want to be stuck in a house ablaze with fire or stay locked up in prison. And to the same extent that it desires liberation from them, it will then still be necessary to increase it. So you must generate the mind striving for liberations. We should generate a strong one. So generate the strong mind striving for liberations. And to the same extent, it's like we want to leave the house, a burning house. So if we are in the house that is caught on fire, then we are very scared, right? We are terrified, and then we will immediately do anything to get us out of the burning house, right? So similarly, if we are caught in prison, if we are being put in prison, then our wish to be free from the prison is very strong also, right? So similarly, our mind striving for liberations or wishing to achieve liberations should be like this as well, very strong. So if we have a strong wish to achieve liberations, then similarly, our effort that we will put in achieving this will be very strong as well. So if we put strong effort in achieving liberations, then we will achieve liberations as very quickly.
그래서 가간다 삼바 슈치고 같이 내가야 돼 맞아 에로아 타바토니 로디 슈치고다 그 퀄리티에 관련된 삼바데 같이 슈치고 내가이나 데 수수비지레가나 냐네체 공반지테 고야레 데 간달라바스는 냐네체 가르쳐 이나데 이 야지 슈치고도 위해서 좋아 야지 슈치고도 위해서 야지 슈치고도 좋아요 때 맞아 타바 니도 또 위해서 된다 데로와 이다 데레 디디기 손도와 간다 미치차라와 심줄했다비 심하게 일로도 심줄했다비 심하게 딘디지나 대간다 사바도 두고 말이에서 뭐라 하나 데리고 심줄했다비 심한 가서 배 엔디비지 나서 네 발리라고 지 창소바이나 창 발리 나서 딱 간다 디 길로 찔라고 지 창소바이나 창소리 창당보도 배 좋아시키지 못다. 발리 양자 싸우데 니바 소발마 좋아 춤만 보고와. 대 좋아시다 요 말이지. 대 좋아 선바시가 가졌잖아. 대 좋아시다 요 말. 대들라 간다 창 고시가시다 리고요 말. 오 때가서 somebody 두스파 배 콜링에 바 타파 토구요 세네 스스로 칸을 나와지. 왜 니지 타파 타비 저는 전부 마찬가지 몇째 내봐. 딘디기 코알랑이 일반적으로 일로 휴침보다 타바되는 일로 휴침보지 매바이나 그 시주라던 비시마 창고 조어매바다 지발해서 간다와 좋아하는 이거 리치 통마세워와 된 이거 휴침보내 두고 말이스 내 간다 죽군주다 리브 동안서도 파 보두고 말이스 소판 두고 말이스 좋아 리파 마토스인데 때 간다 맞아 멤버이 친한 집안나시 대시로도 파 탄대기 휴침보 로 여반나시 리지 구글에 해서다 타바되는 일로 들어와 타바래 탄대시 고알 탄대시 일로 오 리지 구글에 해서 다 디레이션 간다 페리 디레이션 페리 가서 로리 슈니 시다 매바 로 니바시다 매바 들페샤우와 카나 파 야메와 히레무도 나지 들어오도 안다 로기 니바시다 매나스는 와 로기 니바시다 매바이나 디토도 말했어
네, 이 창소, 이 테마, 이 가사 테마 담보 있는 이 주어 신보들, 신보들 얘기를 이
빼하고 싶은 얘기를 해서 내 가리 좋아서 빼하고 이거 해서 내게 따나 도와주게 돼. 난 니바 소바 시바 만들었을 때
니바 소바디 계속 양자디 창소야.
양자디 창소는 때 좋아 길리고 말했어. 때 좋아시다야 말이. 때 시다고 니바야 말했어. 이 니바 시다야 말했어. 니바야 말이. 때 니바 매바들 가서도 타바야 단대질로 니바 매바 휴침무지 뭐 들배샤고도 맞아 휴침모도 타바 포가리아 단대질 별로데 휴침무지 대요는 타바 되는 거 휴침무를 그랬어 대래는 조도 믿어 타바 토그랬어 딜로 휴침모 매바 심기라 심마타마나 시질로 들리집에 현아시 디 타바 토고요 세 들리기 포가리아 반주질로 휴침무지 대나시 매바 이나 대도 두고 말했어 어떻게 말했어
Yeah. As Sharma thought, if this attitude is no more than mediocre, like flour thrown into sour milk, the view that rejects the causes of cyclic existence or origins will also not become more than that. So, accordingly, one striving for liberation, the cessation that is the ceasing of sufferings and origins will be the same. So, yeah, so then we must increase the attitude wishing to renounce samsara, to be free from samsara, and then one must put effort in striving for liberations as well. And in order to achieve that, then one must engage in 3 trainings, and one must put effort in engaging in 3 trainings, and then increase it again and again in order to achieve liberations. So as Sharawa said, if this attitude is no more than mediocre, like flour thrown into sour milk, then it is like like how say when we use barley and then in order to ferment it and then to make alcohol, then like for example, if we use in order to how say then when we ferment it and we drink it the first time, then it is very tasty. But if we use the same barley again and again, then it loses its taste. It loses the flavor. So it becomes not as tasty anymore. So it's like our effort. So what it means is we must keep our effort high. So that means we should always put effort in engaging in tree trainings. Then our effort shouldn't be like the taste after the 3 or 4 times of fermentations. Then it becomes no taste or no flavors anymore. So we should always put effort in engaging in tree trainings. So if we do not put strong effort in engaging in tree trainings, then we are not able to abandon the sufferings at its origin. Then there is no way that we can achieve the liberations as well. So if we remain relaxed and at ease, that thinking that you just relax and then we will achieve liberation somehow. So if we have these attitudes, there is no way there is no way for the person to achieve liberation. Yeah, so the example here refers to the time when, when you drink the alcohol after the 2nd or 3rd time fermentations, and there's also not so flavorful, not so tasty anymore. So it refers to, when villagers, so probably you don't understand, you don't know how to make alcohol out of barley, etc. However, we villagers, when we make alcohol out of barley, so the first time after you ferment it and the first time you drink it, then it's very tasty. So however, after you use the same batch of barley again and again, then the fermentation or the alcohol is not tasty anymore. So even though it is still called alcohol, however, there's no taste anymore. It's not tasty anymore. So similarly, when we say we want to achieve liberations, so if our attitude wishing to achieve liberations is like the 2nd or the 3rd time fermentations of fermented alcohol, then there is no taste or no strength anymore. Then our wish to achieve liberation are just words. So it's just like the 2nd or the 3rd time fermented alcohol. So it is being named alcohol, however, there is no taste anymore, no strength anymore. So it's just like our desire to achieve liberation are just words. So if then let's see, because of desire. So as it says on the text, because of that, the desire to accomplish the path of liberation will be mere words, and also there will be no basis for the compassion that cannot bear the sufferings of other beings who wander in cyclical existence. So since unsurpassed, uncontrived bodhicitta, which has the power to arouse the mind, will not arise, you become a Mahayanist only in the way your understanding follows from words. And for that reason, you should cultivate that attitude again and again. So, so then there is no way, if we do not put effort in, cultivating the mind desire to achieve liberation again and again, then there is no way, similarly, there is no way for our compassions to arise as well. And then if we do not put any effort in it, then there is no, compassion will not arise. And since unsurpassed, uncontrived bodhicitta depends on compassion, then if we do not generate compassions previously, then there is no way for us to generate unsurpassed, uncontrived bodhicitta as well. So our calling ourselves a practitioner of Mahayana path or calling ourselves a Mahayanist are just words.
So the next is eliminating misconceptions. So eliminating misconceptions. So you may think, so here is regarding the misconception. So it is explained in the sutra teaching the Tathagata's inconceivable secret that if you cultivate extreme revulsion and disenchantment with cyclic existence, you will fall into the extreme of peace like the Sravaka's hearers because of your disgust for re-entering cyclic existence. Therefore, it is excellent for Hinayanists, but unreasonable for bodhisattvas to cultivate disenchantment. So this part is about the misconceptions. And the meaning of the statement, thus a bodhisattva should not be terrified by cyclic existence. So when we talk about the hearers, so the hearers, their main goal is to achieve liberations, right? So they are putting effort in achieving liberation from samsara, then it's out of fear of entering samsara again and again, or circling in samsara again and again. So this is for hearers. So this is the main reason why they want to achieve liberation, because they are fear of circling in samsara again and again. So they want to achieve liberation. They put effort in achieving liberations. However, bodhisattvas, it is unreasonable for bodhisattvas to cultivate disenchantment or with cyclic existence. So does it mean that bodhisattvas should not be afraid by cyclic existence? So as it says here, does a bodhisattva should not be terrified by cyclic existence? So it doesn't mean that bodhisattvas shouldn't be afraid of circling in samsara and experience the samsaric sufferings due to karma and afflictions, as you can see here. So it's not to point out that he should not be repulsed by the sufferings of aging, birth, aging, illness, and death, and so on, of wandering existence under the power of karma and the mental afflictions. So it doesn't mean bodhisattvas shouldn't be afraid of circling in samsara and experience the samsaric sufferings due to karma and afflictions. In fact, bodhisattvas should be afraid of this as well. Should be afraid of this.
다 간다 된다 들은다 상승 고를 맞아야 된다 디라네 와 디라네 내내죠 시판체 제가는 지수 등만에 이 문제에 대해 말했을 때 이렇게 뭐 말했을 거야 나 내가 영어를 상주신다 내가 영어를 민 거를 제스나 대신에 시야의 파시에 샤 라고 되도록 깔래 가고 그랬을 거야 라고 되는 거라 깔래 했을 거야 다데 코를 맞다게 된다는 거는 상주신다 때 ninjeda melonge pe khoala ma chero chi khoala tena pe khoala pe luwa nyang ta ba zo kanga la ba phento ja chen ba da ro ba ja chen bo chi ya bi ko ga ja ba du ti no da de khanda mela ninji wang ko mi je ma khoala chua ma che ba ma chua be khoala ma chero shi ne sa da de khoala ma chi ya ga de da ga wa sin je na phemba do ya luwa nyang ta ba zo pe ya ma zo pe phemba do ya da ro ba che tu du sa 소선을 납치고 스타트로 해서 인디지네마 대간다 맞주하다 맞잡아다 인디 차고에서 선을 납치고 사 어디에 미게 맞지야라 가와 공바 가와 내게와
So rather, it is that, so talking about the actual meaning of the statement. So owing to his bodhicitta, he should not be afraid of taking rebirth in existence, existence for the benefits of sentient beings under the power of aspirational prayers and compassions. So thus a bodhisattva should not be afraid by cyclic existence. The actual meaning is bodhisattvas, due to the compassions, due to their aspirational prayers, they should not be afraid, terrified by taking rebirth in samsara again and again in order to help sentient beings. So this is the actual meaning of this statement. So should bodhisattva be afraid of taking rebirth in samsara due to karma and afflictions? Yes, bodhisattva should be afraid of taking rebirth in samsara due to karma and afflictions. So because Don mentions about accomplishing the welfare of others, if a person fall in samsara due to karma and afflictions, the person cannot even accomplish their own welfare, let alone others' welfare. So bodhisattvas should be out of compassions, out of aspirational prayers, take rebirth in samsara again and again. So shouldn't be terrified by it, shouldn't be terrified by taking rebirth in samsara out of compassions and aspirational prayers. And bodhisattvas shouldn't be wary. You shouldn't be worried of taking rebirth in samsara again and again as well. Instead, bodhisattvas should be very happy to take rebirth in samsara, because by doing so, bodhisattvas will be able to accomplish the welfare of others, sentient beings. Bodhisattvas themselves, they're also able to accumulate a strong amount, extensive amount of merits. Yeah, so should bodhisattvas should bodhisattva be delight in taking rebirth in samsara due to karma and afflictions or not? No. So bodhisattva shouldn't be delight in taking rebirth in samsara due to karma and afflictions, because if Bodhisattva take rebirth in samsara due to karma and afflictions, then bodhisattva themselves also do not have freedom. So why do we say that bodhisattva do not have freedom? Because if they take rebirth in samsara due to under the power of karma and afflictions. So bodhisattva themselves also do not have freedom because they are other power. They are under the power of others, which is karma and afflictions. So if a bodhisattva took rebirth in samsara due to karma and afflictions, then bodhisattva themselves also cannot even accomplish their own welfare. So don't mention accomplishing the welfare of others. So then the second kind of like questions. So should a bodhisattva delight in taking rebirth in samsara out of compassion and aspirational prayers or not? And yes, bodhisattva should be delightful in taking rebirth in samsara out of compassions and aspirational prayers. So such aspirational prayers could be like, in order to accomplish the welfare of other sentient beings, I take rebirth in samsara again and again. So lives after lives, I take rebirth in samsara in order to benefit sentient beings. So bodhisattvas made such an aspirational prayers. Then with these aspirational prayers, they take rebirth in samsara. Then bodhisattva should be delightful in doing so. So then we come to next outline, determining the nature of the path leading to liberation. Yeah. So up to understand has understood that one has to abandon samsara, one has to stop samsara. Then talks about the nature of the method to stop samsara. So again, it has 2 points. One is on what basis, and the second one is on what kind of path. Yeah. So therefore, 2 points that are made in this regard: the kinds of life or the basis through which secular existence is averted, and the kinds of path to cultivate to avert it. So then under the first outline, the the subdivision, then the kind of life to which cyclic existence is averted. The letter to a friend is quoted here. It says, now that you have obtained above freedom beyond the so-called defective unfree states, made an effort to avert rebirth. So, in brief, the kind of life or the basis upon which to stop samsara measures 8 freedoms and 10 endowments. So it refers. So when we talk about samsara, there are 6 types of sentient beings here, right? So there are 6 realms, there are 6 types of sentient beings here. So 6 types of sentient beings is divided into 2, the three lower migrations and 3 higher or happy migrations. So 3 lower migrations, then now we think about it. So we analyze and we examine on what kind of basis or what kind of life to which cyclic existence is averted. So can we can we stop samsara on the basis of, can we stop samsara when we fall in the hell beings or hell realms or not? So hell beings is not. Then if we think about it, then we understand that hell beings is not the basis upon which the cyclic existence is averted. Then similar to hungry ghosts, then similar to animals realms as well. So now we can conclude that 3 lower migrations are not the basis upon which cyclic existence is averted. Then now we think about the 3 happy realms. So the 3 happy realms, can we stop samsara when we are reborn as a god or not? We cannot. After we think about it, then we cannot achieve it. Then when we become a demigod, so similarly we cannot achieve that goal as well, which is the cyclic existence is averted. Then the last one. So on the basis of a human, so as a human beings, can a cyclic existence is averted? Yes. On the basis of human beings, cyclic existence can be averted. Yeah. So then we conclude that human beings is the best basis upon which the cyclic existence is averted. However, it doesn't refer to all kinds of human beings as well, because they are beings with 8 freedoms and 10 endowments, and they are human beings do not have the 8 freedoms and 10 endowments qualities as well. So it refers only to human beings with 8 freedoms and 10 endowments. So with this precious human rebirth, one will be able to stop samsara. So as the letter to a friend says, now that you have obtained a birth of freedom, so beyond the so-called defective 8 unfree states. So 8 unfree states, so there are 8, right? So then the 4 are related to human beings and the 4 are related to non-human. So and then, so when you are free from these 8 unfree states, then make an effort to avert rebirth.
This is the kind of answer that what the thing I should get and answer it. 다시 다 타고 가겠다고 말 나와진 경우가 just 리딩 체바 지리 가는 아주도 다 토디 좋아. 다음에 난주 정보비 송도 가담 라마지 슈리 제단지 뒤지고 다 단단 와서 화도하기 뺏지 미시 제단이야 까도 미시지를 해서 간다. 좋아. 그래서 리딩 물리 중고지를 터바다 물리 아마 집어 많이 봐. 나도 나와진 경우가 진짜 리딩 대표 미시기 그 화도하기 니가 여도면 내가 리딩했어. 좋아. 다디 디도 도구리스 다 디도라 간다. 다 레로 나이와는 뭐야 말했어. 그 보도하게 되어서 수도와 나 대사시 chamber 라노 마치잖아. 다야라노 무이. 다 나 같이 창사다 코알로 와. 나배 코알 딱 제로 새로 야차 먹다 간다 코알 창다 와. 아주 코알 지원이 들어와. 도 투여 간다 와. 그 단도 들이 도 마도 왔다 디제는 지금 와. 오 다배 코알도 하나. 배 맞아 니바 차지 진지 창상 창디요스. 다된 창디요 순자 당내 너야 뒤쳐도 가들이잖아. 노디자 단다 대가로 예스 뒤대. 나와진 점은 리디 체벌이 돼. 되게 뒤라 또 그래마다 다 딘디진 토보만 된 거도 니바 되게 좀 많이 쓰고 와. 어디디 뒤지마. 디 나서 와.
So, so now the human basis that we have obtained and now is still with us, which is the human basis, the human basis with 8 leisures and 10 endowments. So we are still having it. So this is then Ninjoba Chenpo Genju Rinchen said, now is the time to distinguish ourselves from cattle. So what Ninjoba Chenpo says is, now is the time. So now is when we have these 8 leisures and 10 endowments. So when we are having it, then now is the time to start to practice it, and then start to practice and then to stop samsara. So similar to, and then we shouldn't let ourselves fall under the power of laziness and distractions. And also Potoa also said, since it has not yet stopped by itself while we are roaming about so long, it will also not now stop by itself. So we circle in samsara again and again for so long already. So now is the time to stop samsara, or to stop being reborn in samsara. So so the time to stop samsara is when we have the complete conditions to stop the samsara. It refers to the 8 leisures and 10 endowments.
다와진주 법주사 디 치바리 통계들라 현대 침반이 와 알아진데 침반이는 조 도야데 야슈라고 가르치나 이 야슈라고 따라 좀 차대 이 라주의 차고에 이제 가르치나 라주들라 뱅아서 최두발라 뒤서 바치 뒤서 누아 내가 예 최다 모티비 샤 내가 뒤서 누아야 와 내가 누아로 와 가다 맞아 라주스와다 최두의 고가마 고가마 고가마라고 다와진주 다와진주가 리딩 치버더라 때 라주도 치버니여 데니지 나노 단 코아도가 때데 가르토라 고가 야여스냐 라주 때 라주들 고가 야 예세 이 야기 비진데 가스나 최두야 고가도 나와 예세 그러와 최두야 고가 나와요 선자 다 신답에 손에다 신내라서 받으리 내가 마고 양접에 나서 배 지미기 내가 들이 뭐 내가 뭐 제일 말아 뭐 제일 거다 라주 다 제대로 있는 수소 간다 최대 모두 신다 아깝게 내가 제일 뭐 들이 열어와 오 들이 순자 다 나서 팀제다 고가도 저도 마라고 해서 다 라주데 야 예시고를 무슨 야 띠에서 배 미세기 때문에 치미때다 라주 띠라 배 니가 제일 남아라 이거 봐 니가 지금 나오는 이유로 와. 어때 집이 때가 산지 공부터 돼 이거를. 그래서 좀 때가 산지 공부터 돼. 니가 나오는 이유로 와. 뭐 앞에 뒤에 고가 야식을 했고 와.
Yeah. So now is the time. So now when we have 8 leisures and 10 endowments, then this is the time for us to stop samsara. If we do not have it, or if we lost it, then we lost the opportunity to stop samsara. And that is not the time to stop samsara anymore, because we do not have the conducive conditions to do so. So when we still have these 8 leisures and 10 endowments, now is the time to stop samsara. So, and this precious human rebirth with 8 leisures and 10 endowments can be further divided into 2. So one is being ordained, another one is lay, being a lay person. So among these two subdivisions, being ordained is the best basis. Why do we say that being an ordained is the best basis to stop samsara? Because an ordained persons, they have more opportunity to practice dharma. So they have more opportunity to practice dharma because they don't have to involve in works, business and etc. They don't have to do field works and etc. Because of this, they have more opportunity to practice dharma. And when ordained practice dharma, they have less obstacles as well. They have less obstacles. So because of these reasons, then being ordained is said to be a best basis to stop samsara.
당어서 지나 친구들을 때리는 간다라주 때다 고가 야요 레스트로 오르와 그 진바라이는 안저베 코 되게 니바 열 때들 니바 열나 디스 바체 마요 레스트와 바체 뭐 디요 진짜 가서 아주 취지하고 고가 뭐하라고 그러와 누가마다 싫어라 오려 말와 뭐 답에 치 내가 뭐 요 성상 대간다 내가 뭐 친구 내가 더 마을레오디 이 취도라 바체 마을레고 그러와 바체 마을레고 뭐 되게 차이가 있었다. 맞지나가 러지고 때다. 다 준비 때 네가 그 코아도 네가 내가 집어로 와.
Yeah. So being ordained and also being a lay person, they both have the opportunity, but both have the ability to stop samsara or to avert samsara. So, however, as compared to being an ordained person, being a lay person, they have less opportunity to practice dharma because they need to engage in involved in a few works. They have to engage involved in businesses. They have more works to do. So, and since they have less opportunity to practice dharma, and then they have more obstacles to practice dharma as well. So because of involving in different kinds of works, so they have less opportunity and they have more obstacles to practice dharma. So I'm not saying that the lay persons with 8 leisures and 10 endowments do not have the ability to stop samsara. They both have. Being a lay person or being an ordained person, they both have the ability to stop samsara. However, as compared to ordained persons, a lay person has less opportunity and more obstacles to practice dharma.
되는 게 저러서 뭐와 예지 좀 봐야 되게 보다 예지 좀 봐다 내가 저렇게 강남에 무슨 말이에요 뭐와 다 안도 된지로 되어서 말이다 뭔가로 이나 되가래 간다 저러도 중앙 간다 뭐와 당어서 지당 가서 라진 소화는 아주 지당 산지 템바선 소 시점이라고 된 것은 네 많이 쓰어야 라진 데라 알게 되는 거로 산지 템바데 시점이라고 라진 데에 가서 다 간다 동방이 소다지 동방이 그게 시행으로 와
라중라 땡기오로
라중라
땡기오래
산지 템바데
산지 템바데 네 많이
템바님보다 소 가서 라진 데라 저도 좋아라 데 인디기 데스다 라진 데 라진 데라 알게 되는 라진 데에 가서 좀 양바이나 더 산지 템바 땡기 양으로 와 땡기는 거예요. 이 소자 다 간다 라진 가서 배 조 저기 소다지 좀 봐. 저기 시장 가서 나올 좀 먹고 만들고 와. 나바스는 가서 나바스는 저기 라바데 시작했어. Shisa is the Shiva. Or this was that Digi Chanera, that Dumba Sunjan so Tabadumba. So Tabadumba. So Tabadumba, the under the Shisa Bushan, or Shisa is it. Or this one's on. Then as a Raju did to as a so that to Badlea, so that to Matrua, or did it. That this one's on. Then as that Lava Suna, so Sitting Lava and Kitchen More said, Lower, you said that this level. You see this level. Sitting the Shisa. They never enough. That was a sitting Chidanaji, you wonder a bear. The one my shield, that's all hard to the mother mother. We need to be so good. That's all I don't know. What this was that day, that on the Chibi chance in the Rajuna member of the Tabatus people yesterday on that. Madam Chilis.
That is why the wise should delight in ordination. The questions of householder Ugra Sutra says that lay bodhisattvas should aspire to ordination. And this mainly refers to aspiring to full ordination. And also ornament for the Mahayana Sutras also says, so those on the side of the ordained have limitless excellent qualities, and those exerting themselves in vows excel over householders, bodhisattvas. And ordination is not only praised for the attainment of the complete release as liberation from cyclic existence, but also presented as the best basis to accomplish omniscience. So, yeah. So in general, when we talk about whether the Buddha's teaching abides or not, or remains or not, it depends on the ordained ones. It depends on the Sangha. So if Sangha degenerate, then the Buddha's teaching degenerate as well. So, and when we talk about Sangha, then we talk about their ordination vows. And these ordination vows is one of the individual liberation vows. Is the main one in individual liberation vows. So it talks about the importance of guarding the vows, guarding the individual liberation vows, especially the fully ordination vows. So, and it relates to the three trainings as well. So when we talk about the three trainings at the beginning of this text, then it also stressed on the importance of training in morality as well. So if there is no training in morality, then it will be difficult for the others training to develop. So therefore, training in morality and the fully ordination vows is praised.
I'm not doing the Nimba launch in the she bombale doba, Tanqua doat. Long condition, Gonta condition, yes, that did it. Not in the she bombale. That kind of social business of condition was not condition.
So the kind of path to cultivate to avert cyclic existence. So it talks about what kind of path that we should cultivate.
I'm going to do with the heating muscle. I'm going to do go up a local measure that is that you are on. The answer never delay. That did Sijin Dua. I did Sijin Mandama, that much. I'm also on quad Dua Janja Kijishigua. That quad Dua Janja that long. Generation Takanda Umbalanka quad over the Esna. That quad Dua and also Kitchen Katsir. Dickated Leo. That ranking go a killer measure in a hatchet petilla of that day, measure along such Masina. This also go see the mates to not see the routine at the scene of petilla of Chirua. The answer Surua. So go a measure in a Subola measure in a Lansa made a Masuna that go to put Silo, the pet, the hatchet pet. Jawa Yobi Chiki Shiwa. Jobu imagine Mati so that he's a shiwa. That I would digital bit.
So what kind of path to cultivate to stop cyclic existence? The letter to a friend says, even if your head or clothes caught fire, give up fighting it, simply make an effort to destroy the occurrence of future rebirths. So so it talks about how important it is to stop samsara. So it talks about how important it is and how urgent it is to stop samsara. So even if your head or your clothes or your body is caught fire, then, and in general, if our head, our bodies, our clothes caught fire, then the urgent, how urgent it is to put off the fire, right? So similarly, I say we should have such urgent, as the mind urgently wanting to stop the samsara.
当然，这讲的没信过的，给了没学完那的，点嘛他讲的没得怕，是要给他去别的，我你这结果我说你这个，我说别那个咋着了，我就说，那个咋着的，他别的晓得没几个，我的给了没学完呢，他点嘛他讲的把是要给他去接个咋着，你打桥位了，你这个桥位，你咋着的话，那个咋着的话，桥位的一那样。다 기치주 부터네 ngoda kela me sibi tashi shebji de ngoda kela me shobena me de siagi tashi shebji de ta da le da nyamu wagi yanja man kho sipala jewa la mogi bi tashi shebji de ni gar zada kechiwa gar ese da dile da le da nyamu wagi yanja ma sipala jewa la mogi bi tashi shebji de hachang zada chewa da kechiwa ese ko ta ro 이 자다쳐라 개치와겠어. 대 개치와에서 나오디 ngoda 그라 메초디 때 하장 가서 지디나마 그 자다 쇼지로 내가 그 랑사스테 고야 그 다시 시작이 자다 저거 체크하기 쇼를 로와 이나 텔레페 양자 코아 시발마 양자 지와라 먹기 다시 시작이 대 자다 쳐와겠어. 그 당고 빼디시와.
Yeah, so if first it talks about on the conventional levels, if our head, clothes, body caught fire, then we immediately think about the method to put off the fire, right? Because we are in a very serious situations, so we will immediately take action to put off the fire. So even though it is very important, even though it is very urgent to do so, however, if we compare these to taking rebirth in samsara due to karma and afflictions, then the previous one becomes less important, because stopping the samsara due to karma and afflictions is even more important. It's even more important to just put off the fire. If our body, our clothes, our head caught fire, then compared to this, then the later one is even more important. Apply the method to stop samsara due to karma and affliction. This is even more important. So then through pure ethics, wisdom and concentration, attain nirvana, the peaceful, immaculate and tame state. So it talks about how urgent it is and how important it is to apply the method to stop samsara due to karma and afflictions. So it's even more urgent, it's even more important than putting off the fire on our head or on our clothes. So, and since it's so important to put effort in stopping samsara due to karma and afflictions, then one must train in 3 trainings. So through pure ethics, wisdom, and concentration. So, and in dependence on these 3 trainings, then one will be able to achieve liberations, and one will be able to achieve arhatship. So even though we understand the reason that we have to put effort in 3 trainings or engaging in 3 trainings, it doesn't mean that we can practice it tomorrow, we can practice it later, or we practice it in a very relaxing manner. So it doesn't mean that we practice it tomorrow, practice it next month, because the examples that we previously talked about, how urgent it is in a conventional level to put off the fire on our head, on our body. So, and then we also talk about how practicing to apply the method to stop samsara due to karma and afflictions is even more urgent, and is even more important than put off the fire, right? So it's not like we practice it later or tomorrow. So we must practice it urgently, immediately.
타비 공파 토지비 차라 간사지가 타비 공파들 막 냐는 와서 조르 와서 예 이렇게 요 말했어 타비 공파 토잖아 와 다들 와서 제가 마음으로 보지나 다주만 너무 기기 쉬고 다디요 말와 다들 매가지로 와 다간다 타비 공파디에 토 차이 제라 타비 공파디 양자마 제가 나지 누가 별이야 야마 양자 양도야 개요 말 간사지가 두세존도야 개요 말했어 지존도야 개요 말했어 근데 매와 선자 내가다 맞은 중앙 길립들이 사지지 풍보다 내다서 강라 땡고 말했어 와 내다서 강라 땡고 봐 다 풍벌 하마는 냥데 세어디 토로 그랬어 와 가다 냥데 타바 토로 그랬어 대 토로 선자 내 엔디기 토야지가 따로 따봤으나 매세 나로 지 있어 와 매세 나로 지 있어 오 들리지 들리죠 다리요
지다마 에너디 타베
지다마 리지오 다좀만 냥바 여시고 냥바 같이 여시고 다디 라마 마도 다디 조디와
라고 말해
디 인디 말은 지서
맞소. Yep. Yeah, so so if one practice 3 trainings and then one eventually achieve liberations, then after we achieve liberations, then we will not go through then we will not experience the aging, the sickness, birth, death, etc. So that is why it says, which is ageless, deathless, and limitless. And yeah, so it doesn't, after we achieve the state of enlightenment, then after we achieve the state of liberations, then this state of liberations will not degenerate, and it will not expire as well. So, and then we are free from earth, fire, water, wind, sun, and moon. So it means that we're free from the contaminated, appropriated aggregates. So then since we achieved the liberations or nirvana already, then we are free from taking the contaminated, appropriated aggregates. Therefore, one should put effort in achieving it.
사라 배경 시고라 로토의 지신이나 관리나 저 제세 시세라고 스타와 사실과 사실이라 내가서가 제출이라서 드리베 지금으로와 당한서 비인데 이거 똑바 체체주 관리 비는 이거 제고에나 다 지리의 시작부와 지리의 시작부 지리의 시작은 뭐이나 내가서 관리 비 두만양의 제바나 또 뭐지도 많으시고와 디지 통시.
Yeah, so in this regard, the kind of path to cultivate a birth cycle existence is 3 trainings. Then among these 3 trainings, then then you should, the foundations of it is training in morality. So the path is 3 trainings, and the foundations among these 3, the foundation is the training in morality. So in this regard, initially contemplate the benefits of ethics again and again, and increase your heartfelt enthusiasm for it. Then letter to a friend says, it is said that the rules are the basis, or the morality are the base, is the basis, the ground of all excellent qualities, just like the earth is the basis for the animate and the inanimate. So training in morality is the foundations among the 3 trainings, and then just like the ground where all the crops grow. So it means in our mind, whatever realization, so be it the big realizations or small realizations, it depends on morality.
That's really Yabuji Masumbaina. Masumbaina, then never touch him with Shivasanova. Then never touch him with Shivasanova. Then the way part of the Banogari, the disabilities, disabilities, the duration of which.
And then the Sutra on Cherishing Monks says, ethics are happiness for certain people, ethics are suffering for others. They are happiness for those who have them, and they are sufferings for those who breach them. So it talks about how important it is to guard our morality properly. So because if we guard it properly, then realizations will be developed in our mind stream, and qualities will be developed in our mind stream as well. And if we do not guard morality properly, then one will accumulate lots of negativities, and that will bring forth the result of suffering.
What that's in hand what that's in Yamzana, they can't also change choose Tamakalina, the Kanda, and you will let to Mudua. That thing has come to the soldier, Julia, Julius, Julius.
Yeah, so then from Sutra, it talks about the importance of guarding morality. Then from the Tantra perspective as well, then the root Tantra of Manjushri says, if ethics decline in those who reside, there will be no highest attainments, nor will there be middling attainments. Even the least ones will remain absent. So those with faulty morality, then since their morality has degenerated, so whatever practice they engage, whether it is a recitation or whether it is a tantra practice, so whatever practice they engage, there will be no attainment. So whether it is the supreme attainments, whether it is the middling attainments or the least attainments, or they do not achieve any attainments.
Dendo Chivala sitting above Gores and Azoa, Dendo Petivala sitting above sitting never enough, that Dendo achieved to Maris, that Dendo do not sit you to Kashinua, and that did this war. Sitting in the Nito Legim and Mazunito, and how much you could Tobala sitting, my avoid must have did someone to 2 months for one to 2 months. That's sitting chow in the Dama, Mima. That Nero, now that you might English in street, the one must never such a Savina. That is what she said.
Yeah. So, in order to achieve higher rebirth, then one must guard the morality well. And without guarding our morality well, then there is no way for us. There's no way for us to be reborn in the higher realms. So if we do not guard our morality well, so don't mentions about taking rebirth in higher realms, we will only fall in lower realms. That's yeah. So I will stop here, and if you have any questions, you can ask now.
Geshe-la, I have one question here. Geshe mentioned about the 4 maras. One of the mara is the son of Deva or God. What is the influence of this particular mara?
So do see the hype the dina ne hype to chi right la. And the hype to ina the gain carry the two is gain carry so you is. The yo na.
The Pachi Tang, which is a kind of Shinda dig around, dig around his kind of the church dance, the meaning of the tongue, did the way of Pedro, the church of Gia.
Because Pachi did Pachi the story, the Charlie,
the child of Perry, J. Shona, Shedan Perry, J. Shona, with the little words.
The Simjin, the
Dig around stuff, this time
Garawang to double.
or dig around stuff.
Garawang to the Gaza, the Simjin right. Simjin right. Simjin, the Gaza, and the Simjin might. Teaching a concert to get a tea.
Sentient one, dig around.
That's all. Yeah. So among the 4 maras, then one of it is the mara of son of gods, and then for example the Kamadeva. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't I didn't translate properly. So it's the mara of son of gods, and then for example Kamadeva. So their influence is they create obstacles. So they create obstacles. Like for example, they become the conditions for one's attachment to increase, and then they also become conditions to increase the hatred as well. Yeah, so they create obstacles in this way. So by providing the conditions for one's attachment and hatred to increase.
Thank you.
Ken Love, then the son of the Mara has kind of overlap with the next Mara, which is affliction.
Affliction.
Affliction is also hatred.
Yeah, the hype between the because of Yomungi do that, the Jibajiang double to Asia. The case in the hype between the to check you again, I should give again, or when it is so you or check you or then Yomungi do the double to.
Double Maris, hype big this was also the child was a control gear with the and the others about the little bit council change were the answer and the church had a control gear with the big change and then on some year the law minimum than the big change where is called the how you be this one as a bit that church had a Chado Komagashi Komagawa Chado bit. The little take on that, there no jet to so called and the champion, the control pair, the legal change with this
long chair
or logia,
did to each other
or the other control pair with legal change with this. That new this or the new Koran, new Koran, new Koran, new move, Pachata, new move Koran, the chapter.
Round and Bachai,
or new Pachas, next one. It's a bomb to buy that is the Dutch of the combat, the Sanjay combat to
Yeah, so the Mara of Son of Gods is not similar or is not overlap with afflictions because Mara of Son of Gods is the conditions for one's attachment, for one's anger, for one's jealousy to arise. For example, they are the conditions for one to become more attached to the objects of enjoyments, resources, and etc. And when we practice, then they serve as this Mara of Son of the Gods. Then they serve as a conditions for one to become jealous of others, practice and etc. or realization. So when we talk about the Mara of afflictions, then we are talking about the afflictions itself. So anger itself, the attachment itself. So it refers to attachment. So it refers to afflictions together with their imprints. So Mara of Son of the Gods refer to the conditions for one's attachment, one's hatred to increase. So one is condition, one is the afflictions itself. So yes.
Can I ask about the vows? So I noticed that when we take the refuge vows, the Sangha who has got the practical vows, they will abstain from taking the refuge vows again, but they are allowed to take these Bodhisattva vows and the tantric vows. So can Geshe-la say a few words about that? Does it mean that the superiority of the Bodhisattva vows and the tantric vows are, I mean, I don't know, I wouldn't say higher, but how do they compare? You know, can Geshe-la just give a commentary on that?
Yeah, so the Sangha, they cannot take refuge vow again, but they can take Bodhisattva vow and tantric vows, right?
Yes. That's so in terms of quality, in terms of comparison, how does it, how does it sort of compare,
Yeah.
Advantages and disadvantages, something like that.
Yeah. Also die Geshe-la die Rabjung ina die kasa die kyabsu domba. Kemdro ki domba ini di yangga lengan yomaris. Ini jangsim ki domba ta nga ki domba ini di yang len chu resa kari jinis. Ini yang penyu ta lenyi kari yo resa. Rabjung ina ini di kemdro ki domba ini di yang lengan yomarisa. Ini jangsu semba ta nga ki domba ina ini di yang lengan yo resa. Ini kari jini dini chagi resa yang jijina dan jangsim ki domba ta nga ki domba de kemdro ki domba le keba ina yana message ina yana de penyu ta nyemi kari yo na.
맞아 짠도 동바도 맞아 됐나 맞아 네 맞아 시세로 맞아 추 관계 지역에 맞아 짠도 동바도 매바이나 네 장주스미 동바랑 하고 동바 장사 지가 지어야 말아 네 시세로 시세도 짠도 동바 지내서는 때 간다 네 시세 디고르스로 디고르
야야 lenga yo na bicho.
네 야야 레고 말했고 야야 레고야 요 말했어
len choger we de leina.
지다 레초
테마지
미스케 토마스로
테마지 레와이네 데다.
사람 비싸서 간다. 잔도 동바 레산나 간다. 디고르스로 맞아 시자도 맞아 장주스도 동방하고 동바 간디기 때 동바 지가 찍고나 잔도 동바 디 시자면나 동바 지도요 말. 동바 지도요 말와. 지모토 선자 당마기 동바의 장주스미 동바도 맞아 양자 문지네 간다 들에 문지네 간다 뒤쳐고 와. 양이 들에 공부지네 야 너네 쳐고 와. 양이 간다. 네 저거 자동이고 자동 정보이나
가리 자동 디
자동 장주스미 동바 자동 들려 다 양자 말리는 네버 쳐고 사는 거 봐. 네버 쳐고 싶사는 거 봐. 뭐 딘디지네 배 자동 그래서 레와 선자디 양생양생 내고 그래서 와. 양생양생 말이나 그 자동 정보 내고 그래서 그 자동 내고 자동 수업 받아 마 두바이나 그 이게 막 민도를 지하게 내가 쉬는 내고 그래서 와.
Also denena die misi gyumzen yo na gisla di temachi de lemba.
지금 고치고 살았으면 자동 동바디.
Temachi de gochu.
temachi 고치고 살았어 와. 이내 진짜 현다 강시다 하고 말씀으로.
Yeah, so regarding sanghas, they take refuge vows one time only, and yeah, so because taking the refuge vow one time for sangha then is enough, is sufficient, and I do not see other reasons why sanghas can only take refuge vow one time only. So, however, even though it's only taken once, however, refuge vow is very important because it is the foundations for other vows or the so-called higher vows to develop or to arise in one's mind stream. Without this foundational refuge vow, then one cannot take the bodhisattva vows, and one have no basis to take bodhisattva vows and tantric vows. And why bodhisattva vows and tantric vows it can be taken again and again is because when bodhisattva vows and tantric vows, and if transgressions or transgressions or downfalls happens, then it's very important to take the vows again and again. Yeah, so in fact, when a person has taken the ordination vows, then in fact, these ordained ones should guard the pratimoksha vows. So that includes the refuge vows, etc. So we stop here. Yeah. So we conclude with dedication. We dedicate the roots of virtue accumulated, especially through these Dhamma discussions, may be the complete cause for Buddha Dhamma to flourish and for all sentient beings to have happiness. And we also dedicate these roots of virtue for the world peace, and may happiness prevails the world, and may the world be free of disaster, wars, conflicts, pandemics, etc. And there are sentient beings. There are many sentient beings who pass away, especially in the war, in conflicts, and pandemic. May their negativities accumulated since speaking less time be pacified immediately, and may they quickly achieve the state of enlightenment. And there are many sentient beings who experience intense sufferings, mainly because of wars, conflicts, and the pandemics as well. So may they quickly be free from sufferings and achieve the excellent happiness.
Dāgī yīni zābī gīwā dē tēndāng rūwā kūnā kāmbē dāng kīwā jīsūn lōsāng chābā yī tēmbē nīmbō rīndō sē jē shō tēmbē rīmbō jē mā kē pādāng kē kyū jē kīwā nyāmbā mē bāyāng kōne kūndō pē wā shō pāwē jīdā kē mā dāng kūndō sāmbō tē āng dē shīn tē tē tā kūndī jē sū dā lō jē kīwā tē tā tāng jē rā tō mō rīmbō jē mā kē pādāng kē kyū jē kīwā nyāmbā mē bāyāng kōne kūndō pē wā shō rīmī tāwā rīmbō je ma ke pana ke kyuji ke ba nyama me ba ya kune kondo be wa jo ju ta je jamu ke be den singyo be we kusu do bo ze chusun gu e le me du ba do je ge do ja de jo gi je su do ju be la chi se 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 kan je de de ge chana be mo den ze ga so la so wa de so shin de do jo ge ben de ma lu ba kan le ju e sam bi yi shin no ka din su me den ze ga so la so wa de so ju shen de do jo Rawe koe shingan de benda de wa ma lu jung we ne chere so wa den zing ga so ye sha pe si de pa du den yu ji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Thank you,
And everyone.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you.